let's see how this does over the train tracks. Pretty solid, actually. Pretty dang solid. And we'll get our acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be looking at the all-new Lexus IS 350 F Sport. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Lexus here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this IS. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 311 horsepower and then 280 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood itself, you guys can see you've got these distinctive lines there on either side and then they go all the way up. Looks pretty cool. And then coming down below, you got really sharp LED daytime running lights, and you guys can see the headlights as well. The whole cluster just looks really cool. And then notice the grill's all blacked out and then the trim off to the side also blacked out. So it just has a sporty appearance overall. And yeah, when you put it all together, I mean, this thing just means business. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 235/40/19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the coloration on the wheel. It's really cool. It's like this black chrome color. Definitely in love with that. We got this F Sport badge here, and then notice with the mirror how it's two-tone, and then you got the chrome trim as well, and then you got more chrome trim around the windows, and then notice the little side skirt here is blacked out. And then when you put everything together, especially those wheels, this thing looks so cool from a side view perspective. So here's our key fob for the IS. You guys can see the Lexus logo there on the back. We have our unlock function, our lock function, and the opening for the trunk. Now actually popping into the trunk, the IS is actually surprisingly practical from a trunk perspective. Now again, this isn't the biggest sedan on the planet, but still, I mean, big opening and lots of space. And then when you're all done, just plop that right down. Now you guys will notice the low profile blacked out spoiler. That's another cool piece. And then we've got the IS light bar here on the back end. And you guys can see you've got your IS 350 all-wheel drive badge, parking sensors, and then we've got the dual exhaust tips at the bottom. And putting it all together, this is definitely a really cool, sporty looking sedan. Now popping over to the door panel, you've got really nice leather trim here, and then look at the stitching that goes across as well. And then I like that trim right there, that looks great. We've got these really nice leather seats perforated in the center, and then you guys can see the bolstering there on the side, and then look at like the white stitching, that's cool. Now legroom here in the back is actually pretty good. We got a little storage pocket here, and then we have some vents in the center. And then headroom's also solid. And yes, this does in fact have a, I already forgot how to use it. There we go, cup holder armrest. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see again, really nice leather trim, and look at the stitching that goes throughout. We've got all of our window controls here with our mirror adjustments as well. And then you guys can see blind spot monitoring there for the mirrors. And then again, really nice leather seats here at the front, perforated all down the center portion of the seat, and then you can see the power adjustments on the side. F Sport logo right there, and then look at the pedals, those are cool. You probably saw the trunk release and the hood release right there, and then you guys will notice the steering wheel is manually adjustable. Really nice leather steering wheel here. You guys can see perforated on the sides to get a slightly better grip. Paddle shifters here on the back for that 6-speed automatic. This does come with adaptive cruise control. That's what the little stock is for. And then you got like your lane keep assist. You got some voice command phone controls there on that side. And then you guys can see we've got our turn signal light stock and then our windshield wiper stock. Now we have a pretty cool gauge cluster here in the center. First off, if I change the drive mode, notice it'll kind of change what it looks like there. And then the cool one is obviously the sport mode. But the other fun part here with this gauge cluster is I press the pages button and it'll pull up the menus there on the side, but it actually moves the gauge cluster to do that. Definitely a fun thing. So you can't really see the menus there too much because of the glare, but I don't know, fun gauge cluster. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Now as for the infotainment system, notice I can control everything with the keypad, or I can control it with touchscreen functionality. This is obviously not Lexus's newest infotainment screen, but still, it functions pretty well, and I'd say it's relatively easy to use overall. I definitely prefer the touchscreen functionality, I will say that, but you know, this keypad thing, it ain't too bad. Now we've got analog climate controls down below, and we've got these cool like sliders here for the temperature. That is always fun. And then you guys can see analog controls for the radio as well. Now we've got heated and cooled seats and a heated steering wheel right there. And then put the shifter back into place. Here's the shifter for that 6-speed automatic. And then you can see the drive mode select right next to it. We also have a snow mode on top of the normal, eco, and sport. That's for your stability control and then your auto hold. Couple of cup holders here, and then you guys can see that track pad that I was using to control the infotainment screen. And then here's the center console. Notice the nice leather padding there, and then that also kind of continues onto the dash and also up here as well. It's everywhere. It's taking over. And then there's your glove box. Now up top here, you got controls for the sunroof, and yeah, there's the sunroof. Now here's a window sticker for this IS 350 F Sports all-wheel drive. You guys can see base MSRP there, $45,760, and this doesn't actually really have any option. Well, it's got a couple options added to it, but not that much. Usually you see quite a bit added to this, so if you just want like, you know, an IS 350 without a bunch of bells and whistles, that's what this has, but it's still loaded up as standard. Anyways, $48,575 is the total MSRP. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let's set right off here. And would you look at that? It's new RX. I wonder if I can film that. That would be fun. I haven't reviewed one of those quite yet. That is interesting in person, huh? I am not so sure about the styling on that. But anyways, we'll focus here on the IS for now. First off, seat comfort's really good, actually, with the IS. So I think they did a good job with that. We'll actually set my tripod down so it doesn't fall down later. So officially setting off here in the IS 350. Ride quality is really good. I just drove an ES right before this, and I'd say that this is just as comfortable as the ES when it comes to the overall ride quality. It's really smooth. Same thing with the powertrain too. Yeah, I think solid with that, I'd have to say. It's pretty quiet too. I will say the driveline hump here in the footwell is kind of interesting. I know I didn't show that in the walk around, but when you drive, you can definitely kind of feel it pushing against your leg a little bit, which is interesting. I like the turn in on this. Steering's really light. This actually has like pretty sporty handling dynamics. It's kind of fun, actually. But it's also just like a really good luxury car. Like, it's so comfortable. The thing that I love about you know, the cars that Lexus makes is they're just super comfy with the seat comfort and then with the ride quality as well. And then also, you know, the build quality is super good, and so you don't get like rattles or anything like that like you might get with some of the German luxury cars. Let's see how this does over the train tracks. Pretty solid, actually. Pretty dang solid. And we'll get our acceleration here. Woo! Yeah, this V6 is pretty peppy, actually. Now I will say the 6-speed automatic, it does feel like it slightly holds this car back a bit. I'll put it in the manual function to see. The gear shifts actually aren't all that slow. Downshifts at least. It's actually pretty responsive. It's not quite as snappy as, like, you know, the ZF 8-speed auto that you'll see in a lot of luxury cars. But I'd say it's a pretty good transmission for what it is. So yeah, I think they did a good job with that. So setting things up here with the IS 350, I think this thing looks so good. Like, that's the one thing that I think frustrates some people about Lexus is there's, like, with their sedans at least, they're so good looking, and it's like, just modernize the transmission a little bit. The power's fine, just give us a little bit more modern transmission. Drives really well. It's comfortable, seat comfort's great, acceleration's pretty good. The 6-speed automatic, I feel like it somewhat holds it back a bit, but I'm sure that this will change in the near future. Lexus is throwing in that, you know, turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder in all of their vehicles pretty much, and so, well, not all of them, but, you know, vehicles of this size, like the NX, for example, it's like the SUV version of this, basically. So I'm sure that this will get that soon. And you know, as for now, it's got a super reliable V6. Let me know what you guys think about this. I think this is a pretty like solid, I would call this like a great luxury sedan that has like a performance edge to it. I think that's the best way to describe this, because it definitely, like, you can feel the chassis. The all-wheel drive system's also really good as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think.